many city council seats should remain at large. The voters decided on the 5-district and 2 at-large seat configuration. In May 2019, after receiving 44 applications from 18 different neighborhoods in Everett, our city council and mayor each selected 1 commissioner, making sure to account for geographic diversity, meaning not selecting more than 1 person from a given neighborhood. Then in August, these original 8 commissioners selected the 9th commissioner, and in November, we hired Tony Fairfax as our districting master. Over the past year, our commission has worked tirelessly to establish the process for how we would create the districting map. We examined data on our city's population and demographics, and we discussed our experiences and thoughts based on our unique experiences as Everett residents. We are presenting you with the draft final map, version A8. We are here to listen to the feedback of the community and answer relevant questions you may have. After these community meetings, we will reconvene to discuss the feedback provided and decide if any adjustments need to be made to the draft final map. Thank you again for being here with us tonight. And so now I'll turn it over to Nicole and Flora for a few comments from the city.
There's a couple of notes to our community members calling in this evening meeting, but you can provide as much written comment as you did. And I had one more thing. Oh yeah, please make sure that you state your name and address for the record. My interns got on me last meeting for not making sure everyone did that. So I'll be working harder this time to make sure everyone gives their address. And now I'll hand it over to Flora Diaz, who's our representative from the legal department.
Good evening. I have just a few ground rules I'd ask everybody to please follow. No campaigning for candidates or initiatives. Please address your comments to the full commission. Please do not engage in personal attacks and use civil language. And please focus your comments on the proposed map A8, which is the purpose of the public meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you, Flora, and thank you, Nicole. Now we're going to show a brief districting overview video. So if we could have everyone turn off their...
Hello, I'm Tony Fairfax, and I'm the Districting Master for the Everett, Washington Districting Commission. And I'm going to present to you the proposed final draft Plan A8. But first, I'd like to provide some background information and discuss how we developed the final draft plan. First, the city of Everett, Washington is moving from a voting system with 7 city council members elected at large to a system with 2 elected at large and 5 city council members elected within what's called single-member districts. In order to facilitate this process, the city created a 9-member districting commission. 8 members were selected by the city, and 1 member was selected by the commission. They also hired a districting master, and that's myself, to assist with developing the city's first districting plan. The commission members include Mary Foss, Vice Chair Chris Garai, James Langus, Ethel McDonald, John Monroe, Kari Quest, Chair Simone Tarver, Benjamin Young, and Julius Wilson. The city also provided an executive project coordinator, Nicole Weber, who facilitates logistical matters and ensures that the commission has the necessary assets to complete the job. All of the plans that were developed, including the proposed final draft plan, followed laws, guidelines that extend from the U.S. Constitution in various court cases, federal legislation, the Washington state constitution and codes, the Washington State's Voting Rights Act, and the City of Everett, Washington Districting Master and Commission Directions and Criteria. To summarize these guidelines, they include the district shall be as reasonably equal in population as possible. The district shall be reasonably compact. District shall consist of geographically contiguous areas. District boundaries shall coincide with the existing recognized natural boundaries and shall, to the extent possible, preserve existing communities of related and mutual interest to the extent feasible. Population data may not be used for the purpose of favoring or disfavoring any racial group or political party, and districts shall be drawn to follow existing voting precinct boundaries. Continuously throughout plan development, we also preserve communities of interest. We followed the results of a citywide study that found that 75% of the respondents selected existing neighborhoods as the primary community of interest to preserve. Therefore, neighborhoods were prioritized for preserving or not splitting. However, some neighborhoods were split by precincts, and precincts were used as the lowest building blocks. So in those instances, we had no choice but to split a neighborhood. A second-ranked community of interest in the study was other. However, the third, fourth, and fifth-ranked communities of interest were language, income groups, and housing types, respectively. Thus, language, income groups, and housing types and other common socioeconomic attributes were reviewed and attempted to be preserved within districts. The Commission's plans generated followed a logical and methodical process to develop, beginning with establishing the district cores. The district cores act like seeds for each district. There are 5 district cores representing 5 districts. They include 1, Delta, 2, Lowell, 3, Boulevard Bluffs, Harbor View, Seahurst, Glen Haven, and View Ridge, Madison, 4, Casino Road within Westmont, and 5, Silver Lake. After the selection of the district cores, several preliminary plans were generated by myself and presented to the Commission. The Commission provided comments on the advantages and disadvantages of each plan, and that included the plans of A1, A2, A3, and B1. From those comments, I developed a new set of alternative plans, and they included plans A4, A5, A6, and B2. Another set of comments were provided by the commissioners on the second set of alternative plans. These comments were incorporated into a final alternative draft plan, A7. Additional comments on Plan A7 were obtained from the commissioners and integrated to produce Plan A8, the proposed final draft plan. The proposed final draft plan, A8, followed all of the redistricting criteria that I discussed before. It is equal in population within an acceptable deviation. It is reasonably compact. The districts are contiguous, excluding the Lake Champlain area. The districts coincide with natural boundaries when reasonable to do so. It preserves communities of interest, specifically neighborhoods. It did not favor or disfavor any racial group or political party. And it minimized political subdivision splits, specifically precincts. Next is a description of each district. First, District 1. District 1's core area is Delta. It is a northern-based district that is shown in green. The neighborhoods include Delta, Bayside in part, Northwest Everett, Port Gardner in part, and Riverside in part. The largest populated neighborhood is Delta. 2 neighborhoods, Delta and Northwest Everett, are wholly contained. A small portion of Riverside is not contained within the district, and the Port Gardner section includes 1 precinct, Precinct 17, that splits Riverside and Port Gardner. Bayside is split without Precinct 18 contained within the district. The district includes a diverse population of Delta that has 1/3 of the persons speaking another language and over 42% minority in the neighborhood, and that's 2020 estimates. The district is also characterized by containing the city's colleges and older housing structures, and that's excluding the Delta neighborhood, which has a greater percentage of rental units. District 1 has the lowest estimated population growth from 2010 to 2020 out of all of the districts, and that's at 6.85%. District 1's configuration started with determining whether Delta and Northwest Everett should exist in the same district. Delta and Northwest Everett was combined after analysis showed a relatively small turnout difference between combining Delta with a Northwest Everett district configuration and a Delta district that adjoins areas to the south of Delta. The next decision was to split mostly Bayside or Riverside. Bayside was split along Precinct 18, which allowed for most of downtown to be included in District 2. Also, Precinct 18 was a good demarcation point since it appears to match socioeconomically with the Northwest precincts in Port Gardner. Precinct 17 was added to contain most of Riverside. Only a small portion of Riverside was left in District 2 with zero population, and Precinct 17 also splits Port Gardner with 7 persons left contained within District 1. The area contained within the red circle includes the area Riverside that is not within District 1. It contains zero population, and of course that is using 2010 population data. The green circle includes the area in Port Gardner within Precinct 17 that contains 7 persons, and that does exist in District 1. District 2's core area is Lowell. The district encompasses the central eastern portion of the city to the northwestern side of the city and is shown in pink. The neighborhoods contained include Bayside in part, Glacier View, Lowell, Pinehurst, Beverly Park in part, Port Gardner in part, SouthForest Park in part, and Valley View. The largest populated neighborhood is Port Gardner. 3 neighborhoods, Glacier View, Lowell, and Valley View, are wholly contained. The district neighborhoods also include very similar median housing age that centers around the mid-1960s era. The district has the second highest estimated population growth of the districts from 2010 to 2020, and that's at 12.74%, and has the largest amount of businesses at 1,607, and that's using Esri's 2020 enrichment data estimation system. District 2's configuration began with establishing Lowell as the core area and connecting the area to the downtown region directly below District 1. As mentioned before, Bayside was split along Precinct 18, which allowed for most of downtown to be included in District 2. And it appears that Precinct 18 matches socioeconomically with the Northwest precincts in Port Gardner. Precinct 17 was not included in District 2 in order to contain most of Riverside in District 1. Only a small portion of Riverside was left in District 2. Since Precinct 17 also splits Port Gardner, once again, 7 persons in Port Gardner were left within District 1. Next, there was a determination of whether to include SouthForest Park within District 2 or District 3. Reviewing socioeconomic neighborhood commonalities, SouthForest Park could fit well with either District 2 or District 3. However, in order for District 3 to exist within the acceptable population deviation, Evergreen and SouthForest Park could not both be wholly contained within District 3. Thus, most of SouthForest Park was placed in District 2. Only a small segment of SouthForest Park is excluded from the district due to Precinct 33, splitting the neighborhoods of View Ridge, Madison, and SouthForest Park. The map shown here with the red circle includes Precinct 18 that has been split from Bayside and included in the northern neck of District 2. Next, District 3, whose core area includes Boulevard Bluffs, Harbor View, Seahurst, Glen Haven, and View Ridge, Madison. The district encompasses a portion of the western and coastal areas of the city and is displayed in purple. The district contains the neighborhoods of Boulevard Bluffs, Evergreen, Harbor View, Seahurst, Glen Haven, SouthForest Park, in part, and View Ridge, Madison. The largest populated neighborhood is View Ridge, Madison. 4 of the neighborhoods, Boulevard Bluffs, Evergreen, Harborview, Seahurst, Glen Haven, and View Ridge, Madison, are wholly contained. SouthForest Park is split to include a small portion, only 341 persons, within the district, and that's within Precinct 33. District 3 is characterized by its coastal western boundaries as well as moderately newer housing structures with a median year of 1978 and the highest median household income at $82,492 of all the districts. The district also has the second lowest population growth from 2010 to 2020 at 7.34%. District 3's configuration began with wholly containing the district's core of Boulevard Bluffs, Harborview, Seahurst, Glen Haven, and View Ridge, Madison neighborhoods. Once it was determined that most of SouthForest Park should exist inside District 2, Evergreen could remain wholly contained within District 3. A small portion of SouthForest Park would exist in District 3 due to Precinct 33 splitting the neighborhoods of SouthForest Park and View Ridge, Madison. Also, the industrial areas around Bowen could remain mostly intact above the Bowen Freeway and included in District 3. The map displays the area within District 3 that includes SouthForest Park. This is a small portion of Precinct 33 that is split by View Ridge, Madison, and SouthForest Park and contains 341 persons. District 4's core area includes Casino Road, that's within Westmont. The district encompasses the southwestern portion of the city, and that's shown in blue. The district contains the neighborhoods of Cascade View in part, Holly, Twin Creeks in part, and Westmont in part. The largest populated neighborhood is Westmont. One neighborhood, Holly, is wholly contained. Westmont is almost wholly contained. It does not contain one census block, which has only 5 persons. The entire district exists below the Bowen Freeway. The district is characterized by its diverse population, with the highest percentage of the districts that speak another language in addition to English at 41.45%. The district also has newer housing structures, a median of 1988, and higher renter percentage at 69.15%. Using 2020 total population estimates, the district is the only majority-minority district in the city. District 4's configuration began with the core area of Casino Road. Since it was not conventional redistricting practice to follow only a road, the neighborhood of Westmont was a starting point for District 4. Only a single census block of Westmont remained not included in District 4, and it includes only 5 persons in 2010. This census block exists in Precinct 42, which splits Westmont and Cascade View. Since the neighborhood of Holly had similar socioeconomic and demographic attributes and is geographically intertwined with Westmont, it was logically added to District 4. Precinct 47 and 95 were added to wholly contain Holly within District 4. The precincts also were close to matching District 4 socioeconomic characteristics. However, the 2 precincts also split Cascade View and Twin Creeks. Precinct 84 finally was added to bring District 4 within acceptable population deviation, and it improves the compactness of the district. The red circle on the map highlights the census block that is split by Cascade View and Westmont, and thus is not included in District 4. As mentioned before, this only contained 5 persons in 2010. District 5's core area is Silver Lake. The district encompasses the southeastern portion of the city, and that's shown in green. The neighborhoods within the district include Cascade View in part, Pinehurst, Beverly Park in part, Silver Lake, Twin Creeks in part, and Westmont in part. The largest populated neighborhood is Silver Lake. One of the neighborhoods, Silver Lake, is wholly contained. The district is characterized by a mixture of diverse population. It is the second highest of the districts. Newer housing structures, the median is 1986. Moderately higher median household incomes, 68,155, and relatively high percentage that speaks another language in addition to English at 31.44%. District 5's configuration began with the core area of Silver Lake. District 5 added to Silver Lake the nearby neighborhood areas of Twin Creeks and Cascade View to the district. Now, this was compelled due to being landlocked and not encroaching into District 4. After adding areas of Twin Creeks and Cascade View, population was needed for the district to reach an acceptable deviation. It was decided to not cross over Evergreen Way to add population from Evergreen, and it would also split the neighborhood. Instead, areas of Pinehurst, Beverly Park were added in order to bring District 5 population deviation within the acceptable standard. Precincts 34, 37, and 39 were included into District 5. These precincts have socioeconomic attributes that are reasonably close to District 5 and thus were added to complete the district. The map depicts the northern end of District 5, which focuses on the 3 precincts in Pinehurst, Beverly Park that were added to the district. Precinct 34, 37, and 39 were selected instead of crossing Evergreen Way and splitting the neighborhood of Evergreen. And that is a complete and concise description of the background, plan development, and the proposed final draft plan A8. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And if I could have all the commissioners turn their cameras back on. Awesome. So we will start now with our introductions. And so we will do alphabetical order again. So we'll start with Mary Foss.
Hi, I'm Mary Foss. I've lived in the Delta neighborhood for over 14 years now. I'm an Everett Essentials graduate, small business owner, and I'm the chair of the Delta Neighborhood Association, and I serve on the Council of Neighborhoods and the Everett Public Schools Fiscal Advisory Council, and do a lot of random volunteering around the city and then in the community. I really love this city. I think it's great and a wonderful place to raise my 2 beautiful children. I've met my husband here, and I've said it before, but I volunteered for this commission because I wanted to be a part of creating a more equitable system of voting for better representation on the city council and avoid disenfranchising any residents in the process. And as always, I am very much looking forward to public feedback and to see if the community thinks that the commission has done that. And thank you again to everyone that's showed up to provide public comment, with the realization that I know it's very, very difficult to step out of your norm and provide that. So thank you very much for participating in this process. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you, Mary. And now Chris Garai.
Hi, I'm Chris Garai. I'm a South Ender, been in the Silver Lake neighborhood for just over 5 years. I'm too also involved with Neighborhood Association, Council of Neighborhoods. Found this opportunity interesting to get to know the city better, learn about districting, and hopefully provide some skills that I have from my background and helping the process. So it's been interesting, and I look forward to your comments tonight. Appreciate you joining.
Thank you, Chris. Jim Langus? Jim, you're on mute.
My name is Jim Langus, and I'm from the SouthForest Park neighborhood. I was born and have resided in Everett most of my life. I have a genuine interest in our community and its future. I've also been involved in a number of community activities in terms of wanting to support different endeavors that the city has. I'm consider being on the districting committee a public service. I served on the charter committee in 2016. I'll say that our districting committee members have been very attentive. They've They've paid attention. They've been taken this responsibility very serious, and they've been dedicated and committed. I went to Everett High School. I've been an advocate for the Everett School District for a number of years, and as I mentioned previously, also for my alma mater, Everett High School. And I want to thank people for participating this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Ethel McNeil? Ethel, you're on mute.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
I'm Ethel McNeil. I moved here in 1969 in the city of Everett. I attended Everett Business College, and I completed my studies at the Everett Business College. I worked for Scott Paper Company as a consumer's rep, and I was also a CR lab supervisor. I worked at the Edmond School District in the purchasing department, and I have been really involved in the city of Everett. I was a part of the Envision Everett 2037, and I was appointed to the Everett City Council once Miss Cassie Franklin became the mayor of the city of Everett. I was also a part of the Council of Neighborhoods, and I am now presently a part of SMART for Snohomish County. I'm very active in the Everett School District today and will continue to be. And I was a part of the boundary change for the 2019-2020 school year. And I serve on several committees there for the Everett School District. As like everyone else, I'm really concerned and dedicated to this city. It's a great city to live in. And I think that we can achieve a lot of things when we work together. And it's important to me that everybody is represented in this city, regardless to where you've come from, what your background is. We are all citizens here. We should work together, make the city livable for everybody, and we should all be working together. And I am very interested tonight to see and hear the comments from the people who have called in tonight. And I think this committee has done a great job working together. We've climbed many hills in this committee to get to where we are right now. And I appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ethel. John Monroe?
Good evening. I'm John Monroe. I'm a resident of the Port Gardner neighborhood. I've lived in the city of Everett for the last 63 years, most of which have been in Port Gardner. I'm a retired Boeing executive. I spent 37 years there and retired on the 777 program as an executive. Since I've retired and have a little bit more free time on my hand, I continue and stay involved in the community. I serve on several aerospace commissions and boards. I also chair the Career and Technical Education and STEM Committee, General Advisory Committee for the Everett School District. I think it's really important that we make sure that when our kids get out of high school, that they're ready to either go get that first job or go continue their education, but then get that first job. One of the things that I learned at the Boeing company was how important diversification was, and diversity in Boeing is really of importance. You get a lot of different ideas when you're building airplanes and designing airplanes. And the same thing goes true for the work that we're doing here on this commission. We've had a lot of different ideas. We represent a pretty broad prospect or aspect of our community. And I think that's one of the things that's allowed us to come up with a good solution, or at least a good proposed solution. And like the rest of the commission, I look forward to your comments this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Kari Quest?
As the bell chimes. So my name is Kari Quest. I live in the Northwest neighborhood. I'm currently its chair. My background is in human resources. I always try and change this up. Also, I'm a photographer and I work in conservation. So many different reasons. My family history in Everett goes back into at least 1910. My grandmother was born in Lowell. My dad was born here. My mother, pretty much all the family. I think I heard Ethel on one of these talk about Cascade at Everett High School. I only had one cousin who went to Cascade. The rest of us went to Everett. So born and raised here, left for a good 20 years, came back about 7 years ago, and have gotten back involved in the city. So it's been fun to see it change over the years while I wasn't here and when I have been here. So
thanks for being here tonight and sharing your comments with us. We have done a lot of work, and it'll be interesting to hear what else you have to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Kari. Julius Wilson?
Westmont neighborhood. I lived out here for a little bit over 3 years. And I look forward to hear what you guys have to say.
Thank you, Julius. Ben Young?
Yes, I'm Ben Young. I live in the Valley View neighborhood. Been living in the city of Everett for 12 years. I retired from Snohomish County government in the technology group. I retired for 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and that lasted almost 30 days. And now I'm presently the Director of Marketing and Grants for the Communities of Color Coalition. I sit on several boards and commissions. 2 are Snohomish County Technical Advisory Committee, Everett Housing Authority or Everett Housing Authority Board, and I'm a lifetime member of the NAACP. I am definitely a very community-focused person. Always a lifelong. I have always been involved in social activism. The primary reason for me being or asking to be on this committee was to make sure that or ensure that the folks of Everett had an equitable process and I believe that this committee and commission has done just that, made it a very, as you can see, it's a very diverse committee, but it is a very equitable process, and I am proud of the product that we have come up with thus far. And thank you.
Thank you, Ben. So now I'll turn it over to Tony to introduce himself.
Thank you, Simone. Tony Fairfax. I'm a demographic and mapping consultant. I have a company, Census Channel. It provides mapping services. My specialty is redistricting. Just to tell you how long it's been, I began in 1991. First redistricting plan was using paper maps, colored pencils, and a calculator. 30 years later and several hundred plans later, I now use a sophisticated GIS software that costs about the price of a used car. I've been enjoyed working with this commission. I think they're very insightful. I think they put together, a great product, and I look forward to any comments that you have and questions.
Thank you, Tony. So now I'll turn it over to Nicole to let us know who we're going to hear from first.
Thank you, Simone. So just a quick reminder, remember you have 3 minutes to provide your comment. Our intern Esther will let you know when you have about 30 seconds left to go. Please remember to provide your name and address for the record. And we are going to get started with Angela Defilippo. I know she was unsure if she was going to provide comment tonight. So Angela, would you like to speak?
Yeah, first, can everyone hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yay, awesome. Yeah, just very short statement. Thank you. My name is Angela Defilippo. I live at 11401 3rd Avenue Southeast, Everett, Washington, 98208. I obviously was not, as what was just said, I wasn't sure if I was going to speak tonight, but I wanted to just say thank you so much to the whole commission and the staff that created this plan. Hearing the proposal and reading through everything, it makes sense. I really appreciate the level of transparency that's been demonstrated throughout this whole process and in providing the resulted plan. And I'm just very optimistic that this will ensure equitable representation in our city council and will help us kind of move forward as a community and progress and grow as all communities do over time. So really just thank you all so much for all of your hard work and everything you've done. It's very appreciated. And that's all. Thanks. Have a good one.
Thank you, Angela.
Next up, Diana Jarmillo, if you're on the line, please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Diana Jaramillo. I'm at 1902 Rucker Avenue, and I will echo the comments that were just made. I've been really pleased with the information provided, and it's very clear that a lot of thought and intention went into that process. So I would like to say thank you. I'm grateful for the work that you've done, and I'm excited about how we will move forward together as a city.
Thank you, Diana.
Pamela Lynn, if you'd like to provide comment, please state your name and address for the record. And if you're on the phone trying to speak, remember to press *6 to unmute yourself, and that will get you into the meeting. *6.
Oh, hi, this is Pamela Lynn, and I live at 2325 Highland Avenue. And I would just like to say thank you for the Districting Commission for all their work.
Thank you, Pamela.
Next up, we have Shelley Whitcop. Please state your name and address for the record. Oh, sorry, Shelley wrote that she would not be sharing comment, but she did want to RSVP. Sorry, Shelley, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Next, we have Diane Claussen.
Hello, I'm Diane Claussen, and I live in Cascade View at 222 96th Place Southeast. I am speaking for a number of reasons. I've lived in this neighborhood for 11 years and elsewhere in Everett before that. And I am an active member of Everett Districts now since 2016, and I participate in the campaign with signature gathering for both the 2017 petition and the 2018 petition to put the charter amendment on the ballot in 2018. And I'm very pleased that went so well. And overall, I'm very pleased with the commission, and I want to thank you all for your volunteer work and the city people that have been, staff that have been aiding the commission. I think it's a landmark history-changing measures. I also appreciate Tony because I think he was the best qualified of the candidates, and I personally attended most of all the meetings of the commission in person when it was in person, and in total, and also some of the Zoom meetings. In total, I think I might have attended about half of them. So I was happy to see the process. There are two things, though, I would like to bring up that I want to speak for listening to people who object to the current map and who preferred to have Delta and the west side of the north area divided. Now, I can't remember what map number it was, but I support them. And there's, to begin with, one reason is I don't think, with all the great things that this commission has done, I don't think they started public comments early enough. And in the meetings, I saw that there were several people that didn't want public comment until after the plan was completely developed and presented in the form that is during these public meetings. And when we initially, I want to remind folks of what the initial idea behind districts was, and that was to establish. What's that, 30 seconds? Okay, so I would just like to say that I don't think it's consistent with being transparent and democratic to the total end it should be. And I also think there are many reasons why a lot of people, like, there isn't a high voting record in the Delta area. And this is the area that has been disenfranchised the most. And in the interest of democracy and equal representation, I think the Delta area needs to be heard from, and the commission needs to review that map. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane, and thank you for your comments. Regarding the feedback portion, we did discuss that quite a bit, and we discussed it several different times on figuring out how getting that feedback would look earlier in the process. And ultimately, what the will of the commission was that we wanted to wait until we had something to present, something to put forward so we could get feedback on something. We didn't want to seek out feedback that we wouldn't be able to use. We just didn't want to, we wanted to just use the feedback. We wanted to request the feedback that we needed when we could best use it, if that makes sense. And so that's good feedback to have, but that was kind of the thought process behind it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, we've got.
So what I would like to know is, how will this feedback be used, and will these voices be heard? Is there a way that you will review what people are bringing up now, because this is the first chance they've had to do that? And,
so since we've been getting written in feedback, we've been making sure, and Nicole's been doing a great job of this, of forwarding it to us so everyone gets it in their inbox, just that one email. So if you sent it to us, we got just that email. So it helped to make sure that we did have the opportunity to read everything. And then she combines everything into a PDF as we're receiving it, which goes with our meeting materials. And for most of our meetings, since we started getting feedback, we did remember at the beginning to have an opportunity for us to discuss what we'd received. And so for that feedback, we kind of had a process. We will be reconvening after these community meetings, and the purpose of that reconvening is to discuss the feedback we've received. And then at that point, it'll be up to us as a commission to decide if we want to do anything with that feedback. But we fully intend to review and consider everything that's coming up right now.
Okay. Thank you.
Am I able to ask a question?
If I could
yes, quick.
Laura?
That any draft edits to the map will also get published, including in the paper and on our website. And then additional written comment can be provided on any amendments to the current draft A8.
Okay,
and Mary,
so
I want to say something. Oh, go ahead.
Is anyone able to actually do like because there was a lot of public comment that's been submitted, like in a kind of a quantitative, like this many individuals have provided public comment, and it's, regarding this or the majority of, how many neighborhoods that actually participated in the public comment. Somebody that can provide that assessment, since people provided their addresses and what the topics were that they were kind of discussed, like broadly.
We have combined all of this comment for you from the beginning in like how we discussed, going back through all of that by October 5th to provide that assessment is not something that I have the staff time to do. We are summarizing all of the written comment and putting that together for you, but we can discuss something. I'm not going to say we can't do something, but that level of detail is probably not going to happen. But I think we could come up with something that would work for you, Mary. But
and
we
that's
do
something I'd be happy to help with too, Nicole.
Thank you. We're at time, though. We can't spend any more time here. We have to move on to Tina Hopkinson. If you're on the line, we'd love to hear from you. Please state your name and address for the record.
Tina Hopkinson.
Sorry.
325 South Cabot Road, Evergreen neighborhood. And I guess the only question I really, I'm so thankful that you have been all so diligent and committed to this process, because and to see the diversity here. And so I really appreciate the work you've done. And I haven't been following everything. So, but I do have one comment just about the Delta and the Northwest part of the city. It seems that the Northwest part of the city, and you may have already, I know you've discussed this before, but it seems as if the Northwest part of the city has been very well represented on the city council. And that part of the city also has gotten, just in my view, it was, I don't know how it was set up, if that was part of the redlining thing a long time ago, but that Northwest section does not, it seems very different from Delta. And economically, socially, diversity-wise, it just seems very different. And that Northwest section, I think, does have an advantage in that they're very educated, very involved in politics in the city and in, just everything in the city. And so I think part of the reason for this districting for me is to get those people involved in neighborhoods who haven't been speaking up. And I guess that's about it. That's what I have to say. Those two neighborhoods are very different. I think it doesn't give Delta a voice. Yeah.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Next, we have phone number 307-6966. If you haven't already provided public comment, please state your name and address for the record. It looks like you're unmuted on our end, 6966. Are you providing public comment today? Okay, 327-3187. Will you be providing public comment today? *6 will get you off mute. Okay, and then I'm just going to call through. We had a couple of people that didn't RSVP show up today, and I just want to make sure that none of them would like to provide public comment. So, Paula Ryan, if you would like to provide public comment.
Sure, I can do that. My name is Paula Ryan. I live at 3124 Grand Avenue, and I definitely appreciate the Commission's extraordinary work, and especially doing all of it during a pandemic and virtually. I know that's challenging in and of itself, especially considering it's all map-based. So with regards to the proposed A8 map, I would support splitting the Delta neighborhood and the Riverside neighborhood from Bayside and Northwest Everett. The demographics are clearly extraordinarily different, and I feel like it defeats the purpose for appropriate representation of the Delta and Riverside neighborhood. So I would prefer to see a split down Broadway. And then I also think that if there's a way to simplify the zigzag split in the Bayside neighborhood, I think that would help for just a clearer understanding of the neighborhood of where the split is between various streets. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. The part of why that is because we aren't splitting precincts. And so with the population that we would need for each district, we made a decision to split at that point, but it's something we could consider finding a way to not split that neighborhood. So thank you for your comment.
Next, if you'd like to provide public comment, sit Lolly, if you would like to provide public comment.
I already did.
Oh, thank you very much. And then Ryan's already provided comment, and we've got somebody in the lobby, so that was Paula, she got kicked off. Christopher Glanz, if you're on the line and would like to provide public comment. Megan Dunn, if I know you RSVP'd for the 17th, but if you would prefer to provide public comment tonight, you're welcome to.
I do. Thank you, Nicole. So my name is Megan Dunn. I live in the Lowell neighborhood. I am representing myself as an individual and not Everett Districts Now or my elected position. I want to thank you for including reference to Everett Districts Now in your historical summary, and I also thank you and appreciate your time for all the time you put into this process and these meetings and the remote meetings and early on in the beginning of the year as well. I really want you, I want to encourage you to think of this first map as a draft. You're calling it a draft final, but I hope you'll really think of it as a draft and you'll take in input from these meetings and these hearings and come back to the public with a new version. It feels like your early deliberations were done, almost in a vacuum. You did not allow public comment for those early deliberations, and so you have presented something that does not meet with what, a lot of the feedback that Everett Districts Now had. So I hope you'll consider it a draft. We designed an effort that would have integrity and required a minimum amount of public input, and that is these public hearings. So you can do more, you can do even more and have even more meetings. Our final legislation did not have a map included with it, and that was intentional because we got so much feedback from when we were collecting signatures, spoke with hundreds, probably almost close to thousands of people or 1,000 people. And most of the people we talked to, they felt like including Delta in the Northwest neighborhood together as one district did not adequately represent their needs. So we had multiple educational events. We attended just for 2 years. We attended meetings. We held meetings. We had forums, educational events, and really the biggest thing we heard was to not combine Delta with the North. So my comments are that I'd really like to see the split on Broadway east to west. I understand you have to keep precincts together. I have studied the RCW closely. I've looked at the Voting Rights Act of 2016. I'm a resident of the Lowell neighborhood, and I feel like we have mutual interests in common with Delta, all the way up to Delta. We share similar histories. We share similar building types and age of structure. We have similar economic income and social economic income. And so I really would identify more with being part of the river people, as it's being referred to. Additionally, it's really important to keep neighborhoods together. I felt like our initial maps did a better job at keeping those boundaries together. And then my last comment is around translation. It is Google Translate is not a legal form of translating information. It's only 10 cents a word to have something translated. I could find volunteers for you to have this done, but I would encourage you to have a meeting on Spanish, accept comments in other languages, and have them professionally translated. It is critical that you're not just using electronic translation for that. So you have a big responsibility. We appreciate your public service. I really hope these hearings are just a minimum, that you will take this input, make meaningful change, and come back with some new changes to this map. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. I know it's my intention when we have our opportunity to reconvene after this that we're going to really take all of this feedback into consideration and decide as a commission what changes we might want to make. So that's my intention. That's the intention of our reconvening after this. And then your other feedback is great feedback, and it's something that we'll see what we can do with that. So thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is it possible to use some of the funding we have set aside for this process and use that towards an additional Spanish meeting? I understand you're limited on staff, but maybe to pay staff additional funding for that?
Yeah, there's a lot of options. I feel like we can have another meeting outside of the public comment meeting to discuss next steps or moving forward with comment. I don't feel like this is the platform to do that, but absolutely, I think we can get together and however you decide and discuss that. I will say that just for myself, because I worked on this project, that we did professionally translate the video into Spanish, and it was produced to our neighborhoods, and anybody could request a translator in advance to these meetings, and we would have absolutely provided that. So we had the budget for that. We researched that. We had people on call to do that. So I just want to say that as I'm the staff who worked on this project. So just defend myself a little bit there.
So was the flyer printed in another language?
We could have, yeah, it could have been requested in another language. Absolutely. We had people ready to translate in Russian, Spanish, Mandarin. It was never requested. Not one person. We did have one person provide comment in Spanish, and that was translated for us, but nobody else reached out that spoke another language.
But if the flyer's not translated, they don't know to ask for translation. If they're not able to read English and the flyer's only in English, they can't ask for that.
Thank you. If Christopher Glanz is on the line, or Cynthia or Diane, we would love to hear from you tonight as well. Is there anyone else on the line that didn't get an opportunity to provide public comment that would like to speak? I think I've gone through everyone and all the phone numbers, but if there is anyone waiting on mute, please feel free to chime in and let us know you're there.
Alrighty, seems like we have no commenters left. Our next meeting will be on Thursday at 5 o'clock. That'll be our at-large meeting. It'll be our last community meeting that we have planned for right now. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight for this meeting. We got a lot of really great feedback, and I think we can adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you.